how to gain weight on a ketogenic diet. So most people that come to me for help are using keto, a low carbohydrate approach, or a carnivore diet to lose weight. They want to lose body fat, right? When we say weight loss, it's pretty easy to get weight loss by just calorie depriving ourselves, right? You could starve yourself, you can lose lean muscle mass, you can lose bone mineral density, you can go on a vegan diet that's, a fruitarian diet, where you're getting very insufficient protein and you get into deep autophagy still, but you don't want to be losing lean muscle mass, bone mineral density, because these are associated with longevity and with health. We want to lose fat. We want to lose visceral fat. But not everybody needs to lose fat on keto. Many of us are doing keto just for the metabolic health benefits. Some of us may have been underweight when starting a ketogenic diet. All right, there are a lot of people coming to keto and carnivore diets after very, very nutrient depleted diets. There are a lot of people coming off of vegan diets and looking to regain their health, to regain their digestive capacities, and to gain weight. Many people have done keto and lost a significant amount of weight and now want to put on some muscle and gain some weight. So here's how to do it. If you've already been using keto to lose weight, it's pretty easy to switch around your macros in order to make some gains. Now remember, on a ketogenic diet, the fat that we burn can come from the plate or from our body. Carbohydrates are going to stay low on keto, and protein is the most important macronutrient to eat every single day to get satiety, to maintain lean muscle mass, to recover from workouts, to repair tissues, to maintain bone mineral density, to not lose your hair. Protein's very, very important that we all get. We all require a minimum amount of protein, and I usually say for making gains, or even for just maintaining lean muscle mass, a good safe estimate of protein intake that'll work for everybody is about 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. So, if you want to gain weight on a ketogenic diet, all you need to do to adjust your macros from your fat loss macros before is, first of all, you're going to want to increase the energy source that you're putting in. So on keto, that energy source is fat. Right? You need more caloric energy. You need to be in a caloric surplus in order to gain weight. So on keto, you're going to dramatically increase the fat if you want to make gains. Now that doesn't mean you eat as much fat as you possibly can. Increasing the fat intake for most people by about 30 grams per day would be sufficient to add lean muscle tissue, to increase its caloric surplus, and possibly to even increase energy levels. If you've been in a deficit, the body will naturally downregulate your energy output. So increasing caloric intake can give us more energy to put into intense workouts in order to cause hypertrophy, right? In order to gain muscle, we're going to have to stimulate muscle growth through breaking down muscle tissue and telling the body that it needs more muscle. So we want energy to do that. Fat is the energy source. You increase fat. Also, you may want to increase the protein. So if you're looking to gain 10 pounds of lean mass in the next year, which is very possible, especially for somebody who hasn't resistance trained significantly in the past, if you want to gain 10 pounds of lean mass in a year, realistic goal, adding a few grams of protein is going to be helpful. So say you're eating 150 grams of protein to maintain your lean muscle mass. Hypothetically speaking, say you're 6'3" or 4", big guy, maintaining lean muscle mass with 150 protein. Increasing the protein by a bit in order to match your desired mass would be helpful. So if you want to gain 10 pounds, adding 10-20 grams of protein can be useful. So using 0.8 grams per pound of your desired lean body mass is a good idea. Now, does that mean anything more than that is going to be excessive or not going to be useful? No. More protein would be fine. All right, so increase eating more meat. Real simple strategy. You could throw a small extra meal in during the day. If you've been eating 2 meals a day to maintain weight or lose weight, adding lunch to the mix can be helpful. Or increasing the size of your breakfast and dinner without adding another meal can be helpful too. Another thing that people may want to consider is if you've been doing a long-term ketogenic diet, cycling in carbohydrates to gain weight. Now, I'm not talking about junk carbs, I'm not talking about adding a bunch of ice cream and crap, but increasing your carbohydrate intake from whole unrefined foods can be great, right? Adding some fruits, adding some tubers, some raw honey. I'm a big fan of raw honey. Adding carbohydrate can help us to increase insulin levels, to increase mass. Carbs are a great way to gain weight. And you can always pull the carbs back out and get back onto keto in order to maintain. Now, if you're on a carnivore diet and you've been losing body fat, or if you're getting on a carnivore diet and you want to gain weight, one of the issues with both carnivore and keto is that the satiety is so high. Right? Keto torches hunger really effectively. So it can be difficult to eat more food, and that's where carbohydrates come into place. Carbohydrates trigger hunger pretty intensely. So adding more carbs means we'll be more hungry, we'll be able to eat more calories. On a carnivore diet, it can be difficult for some people to eat in a surplus, to overeat, because the satiety is so high. You're getting a significant amount of protein and fat, and the foods are not those, weaponized, hyper-palatable, sugary, crunchy. You're not eating any processed foods. You're eating real whole foods, unrefined foods. So on a carnivore diet, in order to gain weight, what you're going to want to do is eat more freaking steaks. Right? You want to eat more meat. Adding one extra meal in consistently is a good idea. Sometimes it's hard to maintain that surplus for some people. If you've had trouble maintaining or gaining weight in the past, doing 2 to 3 weeks in a surplus with adding an extra meal and then backing off to your almost maintenance level and then blasting again, that seems to be a good strategy for many of us, right? Sometimes it's hard to maintain a caloric surplus for people. Of course, working out, exercising, resistance training is very, very helpful for increasing hunger. Now, the meal timing isn't the most important thing. The most important thing is the amount of food we eat. So increasing the amount of food you eat, regardless of how you do it, is what's required to gain weight. Now, on a ketogenic diet, you're going to want to increase the protein and fat. If you're not so attached to being in ketosis, if you don't need to be doing it for, medical purposes, then having some carbs is fine. There's nothing wrong with carbohydrate inherently. When we're trying to lose body fat, removing carbs can be one of the most powerful things we can do. But it doesn't mean that all carbs are bad. So, a lot of people actually come to me after they have gained weight on keto when they're trying to lose weight. One of the main problems that happens with a ketogenic diet for many people is they're afraid of getting enough protein so their hunger doesn't go low. And they're overeating on the fat. Ryder, can you turn that off for a sec? You can turn it back on a sec. They overeat on the fat and undereat on the protein. Their satiety isn't getting hit. They're not hitting that minimum threshold of protein intake to lower hunger. And they're eating way too much fat. They end up gaining weight. So, guess what I'm saying here is that you don't really need to increase protein dramatically if you're getting sufficient protein, but most people are not getting enough protein in the first place. Just increasing fat intake dramatically on a keto diet can be enough to gain weight as well. Remember, protein's there to repair and rebuild tissue. More than 0.8 grams per pound of your lean body mass doesn't seem to, as far as most of the research goes and all the studies that I've seen, it doesn't seem to increase muscle protein synthesis or gains to go much above 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass. Now that can, if you eat more protein, it's not going to hurt you. And it can help you get more fats in. Right? It can be hard to just eat more fat. But it can be kind of easy to add an extra steak, to add an extra portion of meat to the plate each day. So a ketogenic diet makes it really easy to lose weight. You can gain on it as well. Many people gain on accident by taking poor advice about not getting enough protein and overeating on the fat. Many people hinder their fat loss by not getting enough protein. Protein brings satiety. So understand when you're trying to gain weight, you might feel satiated, but not be making the gains you want because you're just not eating enough, because you're getting sufficient protein, so you're not eating more calorically than you need in order to maintain your weight. You've got to eat in a caloric surplus in order to make gains. So increase your hunger levels, add an extra meal in there, make your meals bigger, or try adding extra carbs. That's how you gain weight on keto or a carnivorous ketogenic diet. So actually learning how to prepare your own food is a really important part of this. All right, being able to prepare nutrient-dense whole foods, keto meals for yourself, crucial. Check out the link in the description for the Ketogenic Edge cookbook, the training manual for low-carb, ketogenic, and paleo cuisine. It's all 100% whole foods keto recipes. No junk, no crap. All the recipes have macros. And we show you how you can adjust the macros on each recipe as well. We made the macros fat loss friendly, not excessive on the fat intake, because we know that 90% of people out there are trying to lose fat. Obviously, if you're trying to gain weight, adding more fat to the meals is how we go about it. We show you how to do that in the book. We show you how to prepare foods like organ meats, the most dense parts of the animal. There's an entire section called the odd bit section, teaching you how to make broth, how to make bone broth, how to use foods like liver and heart. These are foods that are heritage foods that we've been using for thousands of years as human beings in order to thrive and get in the nutrient-dense, fat-soluble vitamins that our body needs. So if you're trying to make gains on keto, you gotta eat more. It's as simple as that. So you can find more at primaledgehealth.com. Check out the book, the link's in the description. The next Keto and Carnivore Collective is going to start in a few weeks. The first week of December, we're going to do the next round of our Keto and Carnivore Collective, our community coaching. We still do private consultations. I know some people are shy, or they've got things they don't want to share with other people, and some people just want to talk to me and do private consultations like that. Now, with the Keto and Carnivore Collective, I find that people get much more content, right? You get more one-on-one time. We do live interactive voice chats in there 2 times weekly. One of those is a lesson, the other one's a Q&A. And of course we do a Q&A after the lesson as well, because usually people have got questions. And it's a community-based setting where people are able to help each other and support each other as well. So we use a Discord server. It's not done through Facebook. We stay off of that toxic Facebook environment. And our goal is basically to equip you with all the tools you need to where you can do this long term, to where you're comfortable, confident, and enjoyably able to create a foundation of habits that you can maintain long term. Because remember, short term diets are long term failures. We've got to maintain the habits to maintain the form in our vessel that we want. And that's what the Keto and Carnivore Collective is about. It's about teaching you and equipping you with the habits, equipping you with the knowledge and the know-how so you can even help others. We want to turn you guys into better coaches than most of the people out there trying to sell you on services. We want to equip you with all the tools you need. And that's what we do in the Keto and Carnivore Collective. So the next one's going to start in December. You can sign up, links down in the description if you want to get down on that. And of course, if you want private coaching consultations, still do that too. By just trying to do less of the private consultations and do more of the group coaching, because I find it's much more valuable and you get much more bang for your buck. So check out primaledgehealth.com. Remember, you're way more than what you eat. So get out there and live.